no accident. Creating individual success is like having a recipe for a great meal. It only works if you know how to use the ingredients. As a best-selling author, entrepreneur, business coach, strategist, and champion, the Lewis Howard Live Show provides you the insider's view on winning. All we do is win, 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 helping you become the best version of yourself. And good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me. I'm Lewis Howard, and I appreciate you tuning in for another conversation of Lewis Howard Live. And we really do want to help you become the best version of yourself. Wherever you are, I believe there's another level you can achieve. You can elevate. You can reach and become that best person. Okay, today I want to talk about fanning the flame of victory inside of you. Fanning the flame of victory inside of you, right? I just look at his definition. It says to fan the flames. So it says cause an emotion of such an anger or hatred to become stronger. Instead of being calm and force, you fan the flames of hostility. Okay, that's kind of one view to look at it. But the other way is to stir up the excitement. Have you ever been doing something that you started out very excited about? Maybe it was a hobby, maybe it was a relationship, maybe it was an opportunity, and you started out and you were just on fire. You got that new job and you were on fire. I can't wait to start my job. I'm excited to meet all these people. And then after a while, seems like you sort of settle down, don't have the same excitement. How's it going? Okay. How's it going? Okay. It's going just good. Is everything good? Yeah, it's fine. You've lost some excitement, right? How did that happen? What took you from, I'm glad to be here, to, yeah, it's okay, right? Something settled, right? The emotions, the passion that maybe you had when you started it kind of slowed down. And now you're trying to figure out if you even want to stay in the thing. Do I want to stay in the relationship? Do I want to stay in the opportunity? Because I'm just not feeling it. It's a big term we use. Not feeling it anymore. I'm not feeling this thing anymore. Something has happened with the emotion. So you have to fan the flame. You have to get excited again. And it's easy to be excited when we start new things just because it's new, right? People are excited. When they get a new car, they're excited. They want to tell everybody about it. They want to give them a ride, take them around, but give it a year and kind of lost the excitement. Car is still new, but I'm just not as excited about it anymore, right? 2020, we had one of the highest adoption rate for pets. There were more pets rescued during 2020 than any other time that's been recorded. Why was that? Because people were stuck at home, they were bored, they were on routine, they couldn't leave, and so they wanted some excitement. They wanted to fan the flame. And so many people went out and adopted pets. Good thing to do. Nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, what we found out is several years later now, many pets are being abandoned. Many pets are being sent back to the shelters. People are not taking care of the pets. I just was watching on Facebook where, kid adopted the pet. Now the kid's going off to college. Mom said, can't keep this pet, right? What happened to that? Well, the excitement wore off. The excitement of having that new pet sort of diminished. Sometimes that's human, right? Sometimes that can happen. You can go through challenging situations. You can go through difficulties, and sometimes your libido is diminished. Your energy is diminished, right? You don't have the same passion. You might have the same commitment, right? You still want to do the thing, but I'm not excited about it. One of the things I tell people, I've been in real estate 20 plus years, and I'm just excited about it every single day. It brings something new. I'm excited about it. I'm not bored with it. I've had a lot of successful things I'm doing, but I'm still excited to do more things. I'm excited to help other people succeed. I'm excited. How does that do that? Because I keep myself stirred up. And so, for those that are spiritually minded or have a religious perspective, there's a scripture in First Timothy chapter 2, verse 6, and Saint Paul the apostle is a church planter, right? He's a leader and he's planting churches, and one of his mentees is a guy named Timothy, and so Timothy is appointed, he's anointed, he's called to have this great position to be a leader. But during that time, something happened. And Timothy's passion for doing this, sort of like some of our passion, kind of flamed out a little bit, kind of, went out. So before I finish on this, let's talk about some things that can put out the fire, right? I don't know. The Bible doesn't say exactly what causes Timothy's fire to put out, but I can tell you some things that causes our fire to get put out. Number one, what'll put out your flame, your passion quickly is people. Okay. You're excited about something, right? Or maybe you're put in charge of something, right? And maybe you've never been in charge of people before. And so you're in charge of something that you're supposed to do in your church, in your business, in the community, whatever it is. And now uh, you are having a challenge at doing that. So I remember starting in real estate. When I first started real estate, I was a real estate agent, and I had this big prominent development in Bellevue. I'm a young guy starting out doing this project that's really above my pay grade. It's not where maybe somebody that looks like me should have come from and have this big project. And so people had some very not so kind things to say. Sometimes people wouldn't even let me help them because I looked too young or I didn't look like I was qualified to do that. And so after a while, discouragement set in a little bit. And I sort of questioned myself as to why I was doing this. And maybe I made a bad decision. And it was one of my mentors, Phyllis Henning. She was my site sales manager. And she would come to me, and she was Jewish. So we'd have that Yiddish conversation in quotes. She says, these people are just a bunch of putzes, right? Don't worry about that. You just keep doing your job. You just stay excited about your job, and you will run into people that will want you to help them. You know what? She was right. Because a little time later, here comes this gal in with her mom and dad. She's a pilot for, I believe, for American Alaska Airlines, and she wanted to buy a condo. It was her first home. And here, I want to sell a house. It was my first condominium and first project to sell. And she allowed me to help her, right? She was not concerned with how much experience I had or whether I was too young or too light, too dark, too this, not enough of that. Wasn't anything. Can you help me do that? And that's all she was concerned about. And that got me excited. And she says, I like your excitement. I like your passion. I said, I like it too. Let's see if we can go put this thing together. This will be my first real estate transaction and your first house. Let's do it together. She did, right? Started me on my road. But what if I had stayed flatline? What if I had let the haters and the critics, you know, talk me down, right? I could have easily been flatline. Who's speaking negatively or critically to you that may be affecting your fire, your energy, right? People can do it. I'm not saying they always intend to do it, but they can do it. So sometimes you have to monitor what you're hearing. Be careful how you hear and what you hear. Sometimes we just take in any old conversation, any old words, and it'll have an effect on us. And all of a sudden, we don't feel motivated, don't feel as excitement. Somebody has thrown some water on your fire. So be careful of people running around with buckets because they're going to be tossing water on your fire. No, I want people that can stoke the fire with me. They can get that thing going. For you campfire fire starters, you know what I'm talking about, right? You gotta get the sticks, you got to get the tools to make the fire, but you got to keep the fire going, because if you don't stoke that fire, it'll go out. Right? You barbecuers, you master chefs out there, man. I'm one of them. You know, when you're barbecuing and you got to get up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and get that fire started, you got to keep that fire going. You can't let that fire go out, especially if you're doing competition barbecue. I used to watch a lot of barbecue competitions, and one of the things that would happen is the guy's fire would go out in the middle of the night. He takes a nap or she falls off to sleep, fire's gone. Now they got to get up early in the morning, and now they got to get that fire going. They got to get it going fast, and now they got to cook the meat hot and fast. Well, you know what's going to happen? Chances of burning that meat gets higher when you got a heated fire, and chances of it smelling like butane and other propane stuff increases. Why? Because now you're trying to push that fire up. You're trying to start that. What you don't want to be is in the middle of a situation, all of a sudden trying to fan the flame. It usually doesn't happen. So that's number one. People can put out your fire. Number two, routine. Life is routine. Right? Life consists of routine. All of us, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter how you're hearing me right now, you have some type of routine in your life. You have a time when you get up. You have a time when you go to bed. You have a time when you work. You have a time when you sleep. You have a time when you take care of your kids, when you pick your kids up, when you drop your kids off, when you take time for yourself, when you do your makeup. We got a time for all this stuff, right? And so when you do that, you get into a routine. And sometimes when you get into a routine, it just becomes automatic. Maybe the first couple of times you did it, you were challenged by it because it was something new to try. But after a while, it's just routine. And what happens when things become routine, when you're doing things over and over and over, did I say it over and over again, you get bored, right? So your flame can go out just a boredom, out of boredom. I'm not stoking my fire. I'm not keeping my excitement going. Where did the fire go in the marriage? It went out because you two weren't stoking the fire. You got so busy with your respective responsibilities and tasks, which could be all good, but you forgot to take time for yourself. I love to hear about couples going on date night. I love to hear that. You know why? Because what they're doing is they're not just going on date night, they're stoking the fire. They're spending time with each other to keep the fire going. I do not like it when I see people out on a date or at lunch and both of them are on their smartphone. They're not even talking to each other. They're just sitting there. This guy, he's scrolling, she's scrolling. They're not even talking to each other. That's not stoking the fire, folks. That fire is going to go out. Okay. So, principal thought, if you don't stoke the fire, by default, it's going to go out. So if you don't stoke the fire in your relationship, if you don't stoke the fire in your businesses, it doesn't matter how much you start with, it won't stay until you fan the flame. So in this story where I was talking about Paul talking about Timothy, he tells Timothy, he said, fan the flame. Okay. Now, interesting, he didn't say, I'll come fan your flame for you, Timothy, or hey, go get somebody else to fan the flame for you. No, he said, you got to fan the flame. I can't fan your flame. I can't stir you up. As passionate as I might be, I can't fan your flame. You have to fan your flame. You got to find your happy place. You have to find your passion, your drive, what excites you, right? So number three said, number one is people will put out your flame. Number two, that'll put out your flame is routine. Number three, that will put out your flame is not knowing where you're going. Okay. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to get lost. Right. So we all have GPS, right? In your cars, on your phone. And so if you in an unfamiliar neighborhood and you don't use your GPS, high probability is you're going to get lost. Okay. And now you're not focused on the excitement of where you're going. Now you're just focused on getting back on the road. I've done this time. I'm all of a sudden I'm lost. And now I'm not focused on the meeting or the celebration or the party. I'm focused on getting myself back onto the road so I can get going back into it. Some of you are in the ditch, right? Your flame has gone out and you're in the ditch because you have lost your way. Why did you do the job in the first place? I often ask real estate agents, remember why you got into real estate? Why did you take the hours? Why did you invest the money? Why did you invest the time? Remember when, right? You've got to remember when, why you did, because that will help your passion. Okay. One of the things that keeps me passionate about doing real estate after so many years or being in the housing and development business is because I like making a difference with people. And seemingly, we're not running out of people. So, guess what? Every day I have the opportunity to go out and make a difference in somebody's life doing something that I like and enjoy. Do what you like and enjoy. If you don't do what you like and enjoy, reason number three, your flame is going to go out. If you're not liking it and you're not feeling it, whether it's a relationship, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a geographic location, maybe you move to it and all of a sudden you're not feeling it. If you continue there, your flame is gonna go out. And the whole thing we're talking about is keeping the flame burning, right? All right, so this is the kickoff of NFL week, and we saw the games a few days ago, people kicking off. We got the fans in there, right? And so I live in the Northwest, and so one particular area we have the Seahawks, Seattle Seahawks that play football in the Northwest, and we have some of the best fans. We have some of the loudest fans. I mean, boy, I have been in that stadium before, and it is loud. It's so loud that even the broadcasters can't even hear themselves speaking sometimes. So it's loud. But one of the things that the players say is that they like fanning the flames of the fans, right? Because we have more false start calls for the other team than any other NFL team in any other stadium. We cause a lot of false starts. Why? Because of our passion. Man, when that flame gets fired up in that stadium, you can't hear yourself, and neither can the other team. And even teams that practice silent signals, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They still get thrown off when they're not even trying to call audible signals. So, passion can change environments. Passion can change in situation, right? Here's the benefit. I want to say, like when you have a fire and you got a flame in it, other people can get warmed by it. So if you're out camping and you start a fire and there are people walk by and it's a chilly night, most likely one of those people are going to say, hey, can I stop by your fire for a little bit and get warm? When you got passion in your life, people want to stop by your fire and get a little warm. You got something going on. You got some excitement around you. That's why I love people that get in retirement because you're out of one chapter in your life, but you got to get into another chapter. The fire shouldn't go out just because I'm not doing the job that I've done for 20 years. I got a new job, right? I got to find something new. I got to keep that fan flamed, right? I got to keep it going. So you have to think about ways in your life is what keeps my flame going and what takes it out. And all of them are people, places, and things. People, places, and things will keep your flame burning, and people, places, and things will put that fire out. And so you've got to be on top of your fire. I can't be on top of your fire. I can do this 24/7, yell, scream, spit at the screen, wave my hands. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to fan your flame. You got to stir up the gifts that are inside of you. You got to stir up the ideas that you've been given to do. None of us are finished. Even if you're retired and you're done, you're not finished. You still got something that you can do and should be doing, right? You're in college, you're young, you're just getting started. You know, that's the thing I like about young people. Man, their fire is always going. right? I love watching little children run around and play, man, because their fire is going. They're yelling at the top of their lungs. They got energy to boot. They're burning. They're burning. You see the adult 30 years old that barely can move. Oh, man, I'm tired. 30 years old, I'm tired. Burn out. Man, this life is hard. Tell that to the 6-year-old because they don't get it. Right? So I need the energy of the 6-year-old and maybe the wisdom of somebody 50. Man, if you can combine both of those, whoo, I'm going to keep going. Right? I swear my personal trainer calls me Benjamin Button because he's always saying, man, you're just like, you're not aging. You're not changing. I said, it's the energy. It's the drive that I have to stay alive. I got the drive to stay alive. All right. So to wrap up, we said we want to fan the flames, right? What puts the flame out? Well, we said people, right? People in your circle, people around you can put your flame out. Be careful of the people carrying water buckets, right? What's in it? I would rather people be carrying flamethrowers to help my flame go. We said routine. If you're stuck in the same routine, you get bored. It's human nature. We'll get bored, and then the flame just kind of goes out, right? And you got to also keep some excitement in your life. If you don't keep excitement in your life, in your relationships, and in your job, the flame by default will go out. It's like it's got a timer set on it. And if you don't keep the flame after certain many days, weeks, hours, months, B.B. King had a song called The Thrill Is Gone. I don't know if you guys old enough to remember that song, but I like that song. The thrill is gone. He said, it's gone away, right? I used to be excited about it, but the thrill is gone. The flame is out. I don't need you anymore, woman. You've done enough damage to me. I've woken up and now I've cut the flame off, and it's time for us to move on. Is your thrill gone? Is your thrill for life gone? Is your flame out? Do you even know it's out? You know, the most saddest part of life is people walking around with their flame out and they don't even know it, right? I have people I say, how you do? I'll ask them, how you doing? I'm good. I'm happy. I'm saying, well, that's interesting because your face doesn't know it. Your face looked like you just left, jail or something, right? So you got to get your happy back. It's important today. And I know we got a lot of heavy stuff, and I'm not trying to minimize the heavy, tough things that we do. And I know above all people what it's like to go through things. But you know what? I don't let those things take out my happy. I don't let them put my flame out. If you let those things put your flame out, it's not on those things. It's on you. So I want to encourage you today, do a homework assignment, get 2 columns. This is what put my flame out. This is what fires me up. And then focus on those things. How do I do those things better? That fires me up. Hey, it's been another quick edition of Lewis Howard Live. We'll see you again, helping you become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to tell a friend, join us and hang out with us. We're kind of cool folks. Every great champion knows that success, overcoming, and winning in life is no accident. Creating individual success is like having a recipe for a great meal. It only works if you know how to use the ingredients. As a best-selling author, entrepreneur, business coach, strategist, and champion, the Lewis Howard Live Show provides you the insider's view on winning. All we do is win, win,